The weather is anything but glorious, but a run for glory awaits Funny Cide at rain-soaked Belmont Park as the New York-bred gelding tries to become the first Triple Crown winner in a quarter of a century. Hi everybody, I'm Bob Costas. First off, it is flat out miserable here, but still we're grateful for small favors and wondering if about an hour from now Funny Cide can become the first since affirmed in 1978 to sweep the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. Not that we haven't been here before. Since affirmed won his 3 memorable duels with Alidar 25 years ago, 8 horses have taken the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown, and all 8 have come up short in the Belmont, including War Emblem a year ago when he stumbled coming out of the gate and a 70-1 shot won the race. They call the Belmont the test of the champion. At a mile and a half, it's by far the most grueling of the 3. 30 years ago on this track, Secretariat didn't just pass the test, he aced it, winning by an astonishing 31 lengths. When you do that, you get more than sugar cubes and laurel wreaths. They build statues in your honor. Now, nobody's saying Funny Cide is quite that good, but there's no doubt that the whole story surrounding this horse has captured the public's imagination.
Since its beginnings, thoroughbred racing has been known as the sport of kings. But every once in a while, we're reminded there's always room for the little guy. It was an American dream come true for 6 lifelong friends. Regular guys with regular jobs who pooled their money to buy a horse they could enjoy together. Just small-town dreamers that now had a chance to become a part of racing history. The journeyman trainer and the jockey believe past his prime. All of a sudden, they are the star attraction on the world's largest stage, New York City. Today at Belmont, history can be made. As the sport of kings looks desperately to crown a new hero. A hero that proves the underdog can still overcome. That the American dream is still alive. Soggy Belmont Park on New York's Long Island, where despite a steady rain, fans began pouring in earlier today, close to 100,000 of them, hoping for a chance to witness history and to cheer one of their own, a New York-bred. Inside barn 6, under constant guard, the horse who could write that history, Funny Cide, hoping to do what 16 others have not. Add the grueling mile-and-a-half Belmont Stakes to his Derby and Preakness wins. And if he peeked from his stall and saw all the rain, he might have been licking his chops. His owners, who have made arriving in a rented school bus the latest in racetrack chic, came here today in 4 buses to hold all their friends and well-wishers. And in the jockey's room, Jose Santos, already 3 times a winner on the undercard here, hopes for the ultimate victory and a chance to etch his name alongside the greats of his sport. It's all about to unfold amongst the umbrellas in the 135th Belmont Stakes. At a mile and a half, it's the longest of the Triple Crown races. The purse $1 million plus. Visa puts up a $5 million bonus if Funny Cide can win. We've had almost an inch of rain fall today, and the temperature's been dropping steadily too, now down into the 50s. The track is sloppy with standing water all around the mile-and-a-half oval. Hello everyone, and welcome to Belmont Park in one of the few dry spots here. I'm Tom Hammond, ready to bring you one of the most eagerly anticipated sporting events in a long time, the Test of Champions, the Belmont Stakes, as Funny Cide goes for the Visa Triple Crown. Since the firm swept the Triple 25 years ago, 8 horses have come to the Belmont with a chance, but failed to win the crown. But Funny Cide surprised us in the Derby, amazed us in the Preakness, and now has convinced us he's a real threat to join racing's most exclusive club. And yes, he has run well in the mud. Only 5 rivals will take the track against Funny Cide, and here are the current odds. Empire Maker 7-2, Supervisor 10-1, 8-1 on Scrimshaw. Funny Cide the 4-5 favorite, Dynever 7-1, and 10 Most Wanted also at 7-1. And we're joined now by Charles C. Canty. And Charles C., all the racetrack buzz this week leading up to the race has been a workout in the mud on Tuesday by Funny Cide.
He went 5/8 of a mile in 57 4/5 seconds. It's too fast, but will it hurt him? The opposing trainers differ in opinion. Wayne Lucas says it indicates a readiness to run a huge race. Bobby Frankel says unless he's a super horse, it's all over. But more than the mental aspect, physical aspect, the mental aspect is a concern, because the key to the Belmont Stakes is going in a relaxed way around the first turn. He went the first 3/8 of a mile in 33 seconds. He'll be sharp leaving the gate, but can Jose Santos get him to settle back and relax?
Well, now today in this mud, the horses sort of have a built-in windshield wiper, but the jockeys do not. How they handle it?
Yeah, the horses have what's called a third eyelid. It's a natural membrane that sweeps across their eyeball and takes the mud away. The jockeys will come equipped with about 5 or 6 pairs of goggles, and as they get covered in mud, they'll drop one after the other. You'll see their hand go up to their helmet, and they'll drop them down. They'll be hanging around their neck, but they'll be able to see.
Well, you know, we talk about the Triple Crown has become one of the most difficult feats in all of sports. You only get one shot at it, but why so few Triple Crown winners? That's a question we pose to our handicappers, Mike Battaglia and Bob Newmeyer.
Well, Tom, I think the most compelling evidence in this argument about how difficult it is to win the Triple Crown is simply, Mike, a roll call of great horses who won the first 2 and not the third. I'm thinking about Sunday Silence and Spectacular Bid and Northern Dancer and Ali Sheba. That's just naming a few.
Yeah, but why is it so tough? It's because it's 3 grueling races over 3 different tracks in a span of 5 weeks. First of all, you got to get your horse fit enough to win the Kentucky Derby going 1.25 miles. Then you ask him to bounce back 2 weeks later, shorten up a 1/16 of a mile, and win the Preakness. Now, any other time in this horse's career, 2 races in that short of time, you're going to give him time to recuperate. But this is the Triple Crown. No time to rest. 3 weeks later, take him back in the Belmont, the toughest of all of them. He's got to win at 1.5 miles. It takes speed, it takes stamina, and a great deal of heart. That's why it's only happened 11 times.
And not only that, you got to think about the competition angle, which brings us to today. And can Funny Cide do it? Well, you've got the built-in advantage, at least in my opinion, of the rested horses like Empire Maker and 10 Most Wanted. And you have the new shooter theory in Dynever. It all makes up a fascinating scenario here, and it was a little late for the fancy trench coats on Macy's in Manhattan, so we're going with the bag look today to bring you the stories behind the scenes here at the Belmont. Tom, back to you.
You guys look very sharp. We spare no expense to keep you dry, as we can see. Well, you know, no one knows this track better and how it handles moisture than Tom Durkin, the voice of New York racing. Tom, what about the racetrack the horses will have to contend with today?
Well, we've had 9 inches of rain in the last week and a half here at Belmont, an inch of that this day, starting at about 11 o'clock. But early this morning, before the track was open for racing, Jerry Porcelli, the track superintendent here, rolled the track. He packed down that top cushion and packed it down so the water would run off a little bit easier. Now, there's no real track bias today as far as front runners and closers are concerned. The last race run here, the Riva Ridge Stake, had a front runner, Midas Eyes, and a closer, Posse, and they finished this far apart. Posse won, for the record. But the real problem is the inside. The inside's a bad place to be here today because that's where the track is draining off to. There's literally puddles standing, especially on the turns here at Belmont. So you'll see the jockeys preferring to be in the 3 and 4 path today. That's a negative for Empire Maker, who breaks from the rail.
All right, Tom, and as you follow along watching the Belmont coverage today, you might want to log on to NBCSports.com and make your pick. We'll have the Cyber Cappers up all afternoon, and they like Funny Cide to win the Triple Crown. 74%. Empire Maker 14%, 4% for 10 Most Wanted. That's all at NBCSports.com. Well, the last time a sloppy track for the Belmont Stakes was 1986 when Danzig Connection won, and back in 82, just these same conditions, and the first of Woody Stevens' 5 Belmont Stakes wins in a row. Conquistador Cielo on the sloppy track won by 14 lengths over the Derby winner Gatto del Sol. Lafitte Pincay aboard the winner in the colors of the late Henryk de Kwiatkowski. Rain-soaked Belmont Park on Belmont Stakes Day, the 135th running of the Belmont Stakes in a mile and a half, with the Triple Crown on the line for Funny Cide. Empire Maker at 7-2, Supervisor 10-1. Scrimshaw 8-1, Funny Cide the 4-5 favorite, and still at 7-1 each. Dynaver and 10 Most Wanted. Well, the story of Funny Cide has also been the story of his jockey, Jose Santos. He became front page news and a sympathetic figure when he was unjustly accused of cheating in the Derby. Now riding with new urgency, he seems ready to take a place for good in the highest echelon of American riders.
His entire story is just like a roller coaster ride. It's like a perfect fairy tale.
On June 7th,
It just took so long for it to happen.
this jockey
Never did we expect this scale. But I always knew Jose would be back.
will attempt to complete
This is his moment.
the illustrious Triple Crown.
He could do it and show all the people who've ever doubted my father that he is for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Santos.
First pitch at Yankee Stadium is a distant dream from the humble town of Concepcion, Chile, where horse racing ruled the Santos family home.
My father was a jockey. He was not a good jockey, but I can say he was the best teacher I ever had. He was a top man.
I think 6th grade is when his father asked him, "Can you read?" And he goes, "Yes." And he's like, "Can you write?" And he goes, "Yes." And he goes, "Okay, well, you have to go to work now."
A groom by age 8 and a jockey by 15, Santos worked to help his struggling family. But an offer to race in Colombia lured the young rider away from home at the tender age of 16.
I was free. I don't have no father next to me to correct my mistake, and I turned myself loose, and I went and started drinking and learning how to take cocaine. So for 5 years I went like that, and I went to the wrong side of the road. January 3rd, 1984, I packed my suitcase and I came to America, just by myself. When I get off the plane, I put my right foot in the ground and I say, "That's it, no more drug." And since then, I've been clean, working hard. My body was nice and fresh, and started winning some races in America.
Santos turns her loose.
In this business, we call him a big race rider.
Manila gets there, and a jubilant Jose Santos.
Jose Santos, from 84 through 89, was not only a leading rider, he was a leading money-winning rider.
And a big day for Jose Santos as he scores here.
I would put him with as good a riders as I've ever seen.
A masterful ride by a master, Jose Santos.
I always say, what's gonna happen? You know, I keep winning and winning and winning, and the downfall came.
Moving forward the head of the stretch, and in a walk, there's a spill there. In a walk went down.
The whole right side, I've broken 13 bones in my right side.
A lot of people thought that was the fall that just made him lose it.
It's only natural when you get hurt. I've seen other riders do it. It takes them a while to get their confidence back.
He was never, after this, considered a top rider.
People were saying he lost his heart.
It's a game of, what have you done for me lately? And he hadn't done much at this time.
Unable to reestablish the confidence of top trainers, Santos descended into a slump spanning the next decade.
It was hard for me. I guess I couldn't really take my dad losing and everybody else winning.
You know, why didn't give me another second chance? I mean, everybody deserves a second chance.
he was still hungry. He still wanted to do it. He's got the attitude of an 18-year-old just beginning a career.
And it's going to be a huge upset. 40-1 on the wire. Both ponies scores in the Classic.
The day Jose returned from the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I told him, I'm going to promise you we're going to win the Kentucky Derby, and that's it.
I started laughing. He said, yeah, well, Funny Cide, right?
And the gutsy gelding Funny Cide has won the 129th Kentucky Derby.
Winning the Kentucky Derby, forget about it.
Yes, yes, yes. I did it. I did it.
I was so high and I feel like I was giving high five to God.
Breaking news out of Churchill Downs.
This photograph, according to some, shows that the jockey, Jose Santos, was carrying more than a whip in his hand.
About the whole thing, I was very embarrassed because, I mean, they want to ruin my career for a stupid picture.
Nothing in his right hand in the Derby's final yards other than his whip.
There was never a doubt in his mind, my mind, or anyone that knows Jose. I worried more for my children. This is my son's hero.
Ready for the start of the 128th Preakness, and they're off.
People asked why my brother was crying so much.
It's okay, puppy. It's okay.
He looked at my mother and said, Daddy has to win this to clear his name.
And Funny Cide comes roaring off the turn.
When we get to the 3 April, I took a peek back. I say adios, amigo.
Funny Cide and Jose Santos turning the Preakness into a runaway.
I did my usual routine, a kiss for God, a tooth for a victory, and my hand went open to show everybody I was clean.
Sweet redemption for Jose Santos and his family.
I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and this was meant to be.
I'm just happy to see Jose back, where he belongs.
And I think if we win the Triple Crown, forget about it. That's going to be the ultimate.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins. I hope he wins.
Yes, Jose is back, and earlier today had the sombrero for the hat trick. 3 winners already today, and the 4th would be the sweetest of all if he can take the Belmont Stakes and claim the Triple Crown. In Charleston, he's already had success here in the Belmont Stakes.
He has indeed. He considers his ride aboard Lemon Drop Kid to upset the 1999 Belmont Stakes the best ride he ever gave in his life. He seems to need to re-echo that today.
And Jose, of course, has picked up a lot of fans with that episode after the Kentucky Derby. He became a sympathetic figure, and a lot of fans identifying with him and wishing him success today.
Indeed. He's a very popular, based here in New York, knows this track well, and I think everyone's rooting for him.
Won't be long. Jose Santos will get a leg up on the favorite, Funny Cide, going for the $5 million bonus and the triple. The most expensive race course in North America, Belmont Park, founded in 1905 and one of the centers of American racing for years. And today, host to the Belmont Stakes, where Empire Maker still 7-2 and Supervisor 10 and Scrimshaw 8. Funny Cide still reigns as the 4-5 favorite, still 7-1 on both Dynaver and 10 Most Wanted. And back on the backstretch, that's a look at Bobby Frankel's barn, headquarters for the trainer who's dominated U.S. racing the last 3 years, but still in search of his first Triple Crown win. You know, 6 weeks ago, all the possible Triple Crown talk centered on Frankel's horse, Empire Maker. Well, second in the Derby, he now plays the role of spoiler, and his jockey Jerry Bailey spoke with Bob Costas a short time ago.
When it's rainy here at Belmont, the thought is that favors a front runner. Does that play into your strategy?
A little bit. You know, horses are kind of like people. They don't like a lot of stuff thrown in their face either. So unless you can get a clear trip, it's probably better not to be way out the back. But I don't think that's going to affect, again, either myself or Funny Cide.
Is this a 2-horse race?
No, I don't think so. I think Dynaver is a very, very good horse, hasn't met the top competition yet, and 10 Most Wanted obviously had an excuse in the Derby, and I was kind of fearful of him there, so I don't count him out.
Obviously, you're pointing, though, toward Funny Cide. So, will you track him, or is there some scenario by which you might just bolt to the lead and try and hold it?
Well, I mean, I could bolt to the lead. I don't anticipate it, but a lot of funny things happen. You saw War Emblem stumble last year, so I really don't know until the gates open. But I would really think, playing it out in my mind, it'll be similar to the Wood Memorial, in which Funny Cide was a couple lengths in front of me, and I was just stalking him.
When we talked before the Derby, you felt that Empire Maker had Triple Crown potential. That can't happen, but this is a big one coming up. Would that sort of salve some of the wound from the Derby?
Well, it's better to get one rather than none of the 3. But, you know, it's still a disappointment. Things didn't go our way in the Derby, but that's horse racing, and I've been through it a lot. I really do feel he's a good horse, and I think he's a better horse, but we still have to go around there and prove it.
5 weeks off now, no tune-up, gearing toward the Belmont. This could be an advantage for Empire Maker.
Well, he's rested. His foot's obviously better. Bobby Frankel can train a horse into a mile-and-a-half race off a layoff. I'm not worried about that. So I just think physically he's a better horse going into this race.
Both you and Bobby Frankel have been extremely respectful of Funny Cide and what the horse has accomplished in the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown. But is it fair to say that you have a sense that you have the better horse, and today is a chance to prove it?
Well, I think we do. You know, I've always thought that, with all due respect to Funny Cide. But this is horse racing, and in horse racing, you've got to go out there and run around that track faster than everybody else just to prove your point.
And Chelsea, the Belmont Stakes has not been kind to Jerry Bailey.
No, it truly hasn't. He's based right here at Belmont, just like Jose Santos. He's won every title, every race possible. And he's the consummate rider, not to take anything away from him, but he is 1 for 17 in the Belmont Stakes, and that was with Hansel.
Well, Hansel was trained by Frankie Brothers. She is the husband of our former jockey, Donna Barton Brothers, and she's in the jockey's room where she's discussed strategy with some of the other riders. Donna?
Well, Tom, we've heard Jerry Bailey's strategy, but actually the 2 horses with the greatest power to influence the complexion of this race are Funny Cide and Scrimshaw. I did speak with both of those riders earlier, the riders of those horses, Jose Santos and Gary Stevens. Jose Santos said he felt like he had to lay 1-2 in this race. As he pointed out, the last 3 Triple Crown winners, Secretariat, Seattle Saloon affirmed, all were never worse than second, and actually they did go wire to wire, but he just feels like he needs to lay close. Having said that, Gary Stevens feels like he has a chance to steal this race, just like he did the Derby with Winning Colors in 1988. He feels like if they overlook him and he gets to the lead in this race, that he has a chance to back the pace down and have a lot of horse when he turns for home. Now, having said all of that, you know, Jerry Bailey's going to be sitting right off of them, hoping for a good pace to set up in front of him. And I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But it's nice to know the strategy going in.
It is indeed. And Jerry Bailey on Empire Maker. We talked to Bobby Frankel, Empire Maker's trainer, earlier in the week. He was very confident. He's trained him much more aggressively for this race than he did for the Derby, where he disappointed and finished second. Empire Maker, second choice in the betting right now, behind the favorite, Funny Cide. Welcome back to Belmont Park. Here's an update of the odds. Empire Maker 7-2, 10-1 Supervisor, 8-1 Scrimshaw, still 4-5 Funny Cide, and 7-1 on the bottom 2 horses. While we were away, by the way, Bobby Frankel ran 1-2 in the Manhattan Handicap, and Jerry Bailey rode the winner Denon. We were just talking about them before we went to break. That's the scene at Barn 6. That's the spar where Funny Cide is inside. The guard now has increased. Even more guards in the yellow slickers guarding the entrance to Funny Cide's barn. Before long, he'll be making his way toward the paddock here at Belmont Park. Last year, when War Emblem went for the Triple Crown, the horse was owned by a Saudi prince, trained by Bob Baffert, who pulled up to his barn in style, in shades, and in a Jaguar. Well, this year with Funny Cide, it's a whole different story.
Started this, we were just young kids without any bankroll and without many horses. Our first horse was a $200 horse. And we didn't want fame or fortune. We didn't want to have a Kentucky Derby winner. We wanted to have a farm that we could be proud of and that we could, you know, raise our kids on.
I've been broke several times, and sometimes you worry in the fall of the year, God, am I going to make it this year? My bills are so big, and then suddenly you sell a horse and you're able to pay the bills again.
There were a lot of times when I had the 2 kids in school and had 6 horses, and the lady'd send a van and take 5 of them away, you know, and that kind of stuff. When you're down to your last buck and the horse you're running on Thursday has to win her, you're out of business. That's pressure.
It is Funny Cide, and he's heading home back to Belmont for a date with Triple Crown Destiny.
This is a great horse for ordinary people, and it's just so gratifying because that's what we are, little people.
It gives a lot of hope to other people in the business that they can buy a horse for that kind of money, or they can raise one, because it takes the small guy to keep the thing going.
You know, you wait for a horse like this to come along. Sometimes you wonder if it ever will again, you know, but he did. In human terms, he'd be a guy that was tops in his class, went to the Naval Academy, was had a great demeanor about him, was a gentleman. You know, he's just that kind of a horse.
I think people are glad that there's something you can stand up and say, wow, this horse is all American. He's our boy. He's the kid next door who turned into a major leaguer. I can't imagine how there could be anything more of a fairy tale come true. It's the American dream.
There is an ironic connection between Funny Cide and Affirmed, the last Triple Crown winner. Affirmed's jockey was the kid, 18-year-old Steve Coffin. When Affirmed won the Belmont to complete the crown, Steve's younger brother Doug was in the crowd here at Belmont. Well, now Doug is president of WinStar Farm in Kentucky, where Funny Cide was conceived. And Doug is with Kenny Rice.
Thanks, Tom. They called Steve the kid back in 1978. You were 3 years younger. What'd they call you, little brother?
Big little brother, because I was a little bigger than he was.
What do you remember most about that 25 years ago and your brother was winning the Triple Crown with Affirmed, Doug?
Well, I mean, I thought he was bulletproof. You know, when you're young, everything's easy. And there've been a lot of Triple Crown horses at the time. Now we haven't had that, but you know, just the excitement and the drama of it, it's got a lot of the same feel we kind of feel now.
Well, you may be on the verge of being part of a Triple Crown yourself as the president of WinStar Farm. Help us out now. Kentucky is the home base for WinStar Farm. That's where the stallion Distorted Humor stands, the sire of Funny Cide. But Funny Cide is a New York bred.
Yeah, Funny Cide was conceived in Kentucky, but we had a marketing plan to send some mares in full to Distorted Humor to New York to full, so they'd be eligible for the restricted state bred races. And, you know, never in our wildest dream would we have expected it to go so well. But we were just hoping to get Distorted Humor off to a great start. So we sent the mares to New York, and they were then New York breds.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks a lot.
Doug Cawthon. Another Cawthon may be part of a Triple Crown later today. We'll see, Tom.
All right, Kenny. And Doug's brother Steve, of course, went on to ride in England, and in a lot of ways he and Cash Asmussen revolutionized riding in Europe, making them much more aware of pace. Well, here's a look at the horses starting to make their way over. That's the long shot Supervisor. He's headed toward the paddock at Belmont Park for the 135th running of the Belmont. A few moments ago, the now horse Funny Cide began his trek from barn 6 over to the paddock here at Belmont Park to be saddled by Barclay Tagg. He's 4-5. 30 odds-on horses have won. 30 odds-on horses have gone on in the Belmont to the post, and 12 of them have won. The last was Affirmed. Empire Maker is the second choice. There's Funny Cide, 4-5 the last time we checked, and we'll be scrolling the odds along the bottom of the screen for you. So 30 have gone to the post in the Belmont as odds-on, and 12 of them have taken home the Triple Crown Belmont trophy. There's the entourage with Funny Cide and the guards leading the way over. So let's go down in the paddock. Mike Battaglia has Bobby Frankel, the trainer of Empire Maker.
Thanks, Tom. Well, Bobby Frankel is quite frankly one of the best trainers in the world. He's won the Eclipse Award as the best trainer in the United States for the last 3 years. And when he's confident, you better listen to him. Bobby, you seem very confident about Empire Maker.
Well, I have no excuses today, so hopefully he can make up that length in 3/4 in this race. And he handled the mud good at Aqueduct, so I think he'll handle this track well.
Muddy track, not a problem. Were you surprised he didn't win the Derby?
Not really. Well, not really, to be honest with you. I was a little, skeptical with the training he missed and everything. But I thought he was maybe just that good that he can do it anyway.
Do you consider this a match race, you and Funny Cide?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to handicap it. I think Funny Cide and Scrimshaw, I don't know what they're going to do. And maybe Die Never in this lap. I don't know what's going on. I'm just worried about me running my top race, and I think we can get there.
And your horse is at his peak right now. If you get beat by Funny Cide, is he a great one?
I think so. If he beats me today, he's a great horse.
Thank you, Bobby. Good luck. Bobby Frankel, trainer of Empire Maker, Tom.
And there is Empire Maker, and that's high praise coming from Bobby Frankel, who is not only a top trainer, but a top handicapper of horses as well. Jose Santos He'll be riding Funny Cide at the Belmont Stakes, hoping for the Triple Crown victory, putting on those Funny Cide silks, the silver and maroon, which are the colors of Sackett Central High School, where the six buddies attended high school together in Sackett's Harbor, New York, right on the shores of Lake Ontario. 1995, they put up $5,000 apiece to start their stable, and now they have 10 owners of Funny Cide who could go to $7.5 million in earnings if he wins the Belmont Stakes today. Gary Stevens in the colors of Bob and Beverly Lewis, Scrimshaw, and Jerry Bailey, who will ride Empire Maker for the Juddmonte Farms, and Bobby Frankel.
Riding an Epsom there. Going up and down.
Let's go to Bob Newmeyer.
Tom, if you'll remember, Funny Cide acted up on the walk to the paddock at Churchill Downs. When he saw the hundreds of fans that were lined up on the rail, it kind of spooked him a little bit, and kind of was bucking and squealing and kicking a little bit. Didn't cost him the race. He obviously ran a huge one at Churchill Downs that day. This environment here is a very comfortable one for Funny Cide. Let's not forget, he spent about 3 months of his 2-year-old season here, won all 3 of his races against New York-breds, and is in, well, he's just so calm today as opposed to how excited he was at the Kentucky Derby. He hopes to get his similar result. Tom, back to you.
And there is Funny Cide. As he pokes his head into the paddock, you heard the ovation from the fans. New York fans getting behind one of their own. Well, back in 1973, like now, racing fans were wondering if they would ever see another Triple Crown winner. It had been 25 years since Citation completed the sweep, but Secretariat ended all that in a big way. His Triple Crown was followed by Seattle Slew in 1977. Then a year later, 25 years ago.
He had a sore back after the race, but Wally DeLassy, his trainer, feels he's got him back just where he wants him. Everyone was really on this Colts bandwagon at the Derby, and I don't know where they all went. They don't seem to be there now. But Wally DeLassy has got a tremendous strike race rate shipping east from California, so we might want to watch him.
Dynaver, Charles, number 5, is a horse that everybody thinks has a world of potential, but is really taking a step up in class here.
Well, he is. He's won 3 straight races going a distance of ground. He might be one of the most lightly raced horses to attempt the Belmont Stakes in modern times. This is only his 5th start, but he is a star of the future. Even if he doesn't get the job done today, I think he'll run very, very well. But this is a lot tougher competition than he's faced so far.
And number 4, Funny Cide, coming out of his stall to make a turn of the walking ring in the paddock. And the crazy owners, they have engaged us all. Working men from Sackett's Harbor, New York, and Saratoga, and they have been a delight.
This is a really critical time right now for Funny Cide. They brought him straight into the paddock, put him right into a stall that had a wall behind it so they could keep him quiet. They kept him covered up with a pony.
And the command riders up when we return to Belmont Park and the Belmont Stakes has been given, and the horse is now making a turn of the walking ring in the paddock, crowded with onlookers, hoping to get a glimpse of a potential Triple Crown winner if Funny Cide can do it in the slop of Belmont Park today. There he is with Jose Santos up. Empire Maker. That's supervisor right behind him with John Velasquez. And you heard the crowd react just with a glimpse of Funny Cide as he appeared on the monitors throughout the track. How does Funny Cide look?
Well, this, as I said, was the critical part, and he seems to be getting through this. They were careful to keep him hidden away as much as possible, but now he's got to make a turn or so here in front of a raucous, screaming crowd, and he doesn't seem to be too upset about it. A little on his toes, but not doing the histrionics he did at the Derby, where he froze and got into almost a panic attack.
And still the 4-5 favorite. Barclay Tagg trailing his potential Triple Crown winner as they make their turn. Well, now the traditional playing of New York, New York, and the call to the post. Here's Tom Durkin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join in the singing of New York, New York.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
And a tremendous ovation as Funny Cide hit the track as the New Yorkers root for one of their own. New York, New York, with a little special meaning this year as it escorted the horses onto the track. Here's the post parade. In fact, the post parade was first inaugurated for the Belmont Stakes back in 1880. Empire Maker, the #1 horse, trained by Bobby Frankel. He is perfect 1-for-1 over this Belmont Park racetrack and a perfect 1-for-1 on an off track. Jerry Bailey in the saddle for the horse that was second 5 weeks ago in the Kentucky Derby. The 2-horse, the long shot supervisor, who's never won a stakes race. Linda Rice, the 6th female trainer to saddle a horse in the Belmont Stakes. His last race in the slop here at Belmont in the Peter Pan, he was 3rd to Go Rockin' Robin. The 3 horses, Scrimshaw, trained by Wayne Lucas, who has 13 Triple Crown wins as we continue to look at supervisor there. And there's Scrimshaw. Gary Stevens is in the saddle. Only Scrimshaw and Funny Cide made every dance, running in the Derby, Preakness, and now the Belmont Stakes. And again, Wayne Lucas with 13 Triple Crown wins to his credit. I don't need to tell you what the ovation was for as the name of Funny Cide was recited to the crowd here in the Saratoga stable colors, trained by Barclay Tagg. 3 for 3 over Belmont Park and a first and a second in his 2 races on and off track. There's the 5-horse Dynaver. Edgar Prado won this race on Sarava, a 70-1 shot last year. Christophe Clement, born in Paris, is the trainer. Never run on an off track. Winner of the Lone Star Derby, the Aventura, and a maiden race in his last 3 starts. And the 6-horse, 10 Most Wanted. Pat Day is in the saddle. Wally DeLassy, the trainer, with his wife Cincy, his daughter Amy accompanying the horse. Like Empire Maker, a 5-week layoff since the Derby. He won the Illinois Derby before that. He finished 9th at Churchill Downs, bump coming out of the gate, displaced a vertebra, and visited a chiropractor to get realigned. 10 Most Wanted completes the field for the Belmont Stakes. And in the warm-up, all eyes on number 4, Funny Cide, and Jose Santos. Can he do it? The fans think he can. He's the 4-5 favorite.
Costas back at Belmont Park just minutes now from post time. Obviously, any Triple Crown winner, whenever it happens, would be a huge story. But this year, you get the feeling that the whole story surrounding Funny Cide has made him the sentimental choice, not just here at his home track, but around the nation. And horse racing folks have been waiting a long time for this. A story that can revitalize the sport with the general public. Just a few weeks from now, the film version of Laura Hillenbrand's lyrical bestseller Seabiscuit will hit the screens. Back in the late 1930s, Seabiscuit came out of nowhere to become the nation's favorite. So there are echoes of that story here with Funny Cide. And horse racing people are hoping that a popular Triple Crown winner, coupled with a box office success for Seabiscuit, might contribute to a horse racing renaissance. Very soon now we'll see if the first part of that scenario falls into place.
It is Funny Cide, and he's heading home back to Belmont for a date with Triple Crown destiny.
Today is the day. 3 long weeks we have waited. It's Belmont Day, where one horse has the chance at history. The story of Funny Cide is a story of America. Owned by high school friends, trained by a relative unknown, and ridden by a forgotten jockey. One horse on the doorstep of destiny. And there is Funny Cide live as they approach the starting gate for the Belmont Stakes. Donna Barton brothers on horseback. Donna, how's Funny Cide acting?
Tom, he's been unbelievable. I wish everybody in America could come to Belmont and see something like this. It was unbelievable, the screams coming out of the paddock, and Funny Cide has remained calm, cool, collected. He doesn't appear to have cotton in his ears, which is a trick they'll use for big crowds. Jerry Bailey went by me a minute ago and said, have you ever heard anything like this? But he had to ask me 3 times before I could hear what he said.
What'd you say, Donna?
Jerry Bailey said he had never seen or heard anything like this. I did ask Jose Santos about the track bias, and he said, at this point, there's so much rain, there is no track bias. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, path, all the same. It doesn't matter to him.
Well, I have a feeling if Funny Cide wins, we haven't heard anything yet. There's the Santos family and the tension on their face. In fact, the whole crowd, it's like a bolt of electricity just shot through the stands here at Belmont Park on this cold and rainy day. And the horses have reached the starting gate. Empire Maker on the inside post will actually be loaded into stall 2 and out from there. Jose Jr. Are we about to witness history being made?
One has to wonder if it helps Funny Cide, being that he is based here. He is the first horse to attempt to win the Triple Crown, which calls Belmont Park his home base since Pleasant Colony in 1981.
Look at his ears pricked. He is hearing the crowd. You saw Empire Maker. He'll be the first horse to be loaded. They're having to coax him a bit. This is all new to these horses to hear this tremendous bolt of noise shooting at them. And now Empire Maker goes in. So they're being loaded for the 135th Belmont Stakes. Funny Cide can win the Visa Triple Crown. Let's go to Tom Durkin for the call.
And there is Funny Cide on the doorstep of destiny. Scrimshaw going into the starting gate with Gary Stevens. We're waiting for Funny Cide, Dynever, and 10 Most Wanted. Funny Cide, a picture of composure, and he moves into the starting gate like an old pro, 3 years old and all. Dynever moves into post position number 5, and completing the field of 6 is 10 Most Wanted with jockey Pat Day. They're in the gate and ready for the start. And they're off in the 135th Belmont Stakes. Empire Maker broke alertly. Scrimshaw right there, and Funny Cide off to a very sharp beginning. And those 3 scrimmaging for the lead as they move into the clubhouse turn. Dynever and 10 Most Wanted just in behind, running 4th and 5th. 5 lengths back to long shot supervisor. Funny Cide and Scrimshaw. Funny Cide on the outside. Scrimshaw toward the inside, and a change in tactics here for Funny Cide today. A change of tactics from the Derby and the Preakness. He is going to be the early leader. Funny Cide in front as they round the sweeping clubhouse turn here at Belmont Park. Scrimshaw will sit back in second, and Empire Maker and Jerry Bailey, they broke from the rail, but now they're on the outside, and they are tracking Funny Cide intently as they make their turn into the backstretch now. Then only 3 lengths behind the front runners on the outside is 10 Most Wanted, followed by Die Never to his inside, 6 lengths back to trailing Supervisor. The quarter in 23 and 4, the half in 48 and 3/5 seconds. Honest enough. The leader is Funny Cide, tracked by his arch rival, Empire Maker, on the outside, glued to him as they continue their run down the backstretch. Scrimshaw's not far behind. He's third toward the inside. Die Never now gets a little nudge from Edgar Prado. 10 Most Wanted on the outside, sitting chilly. They're halfway through the Belmont. They've run 3 quarters in 1:13 and 2. And it's Funny Cide and Empire Maker 1-2. Scrimshaw, Gary Stevens asking a bit more from him. He's down toward the inside. Die Never, 10 Most Wanted, well within striking range as the field moves into the far turn. It's Funny Cide still holding that lead. The imposing presence of Empire Maker right alongside. They've been 1-2 throughout. They enter the final half mile together, and now Bailey makes his move with Empire Maker. He is at the throat latch of Funny Cide. Funny Cide and Empire Maker. There's nothing between them. And at the midway point on the far turn, Empire Maker pokes his head in front. Emboldened by that challenge, Funny Cide fights right back. And 10 Most Wanted right there in behind them with Pat Day as the field turns for home in the Belmont. And it is Empire Maker on the outside. Santos has gone to the whip on Funny Cide. Empire Maker a short lead. Funny Cide is doing his best, but he's dropping back. And here comes Pat Day, and he's coming with 10 Most Wanted. Funny Cide has dropped back to third, down to the final 100 yards of the Belmont. Empire Maker Jerry Bailey asking him for everything he has. 10 Most Wanted right there with him. Here's the wire, and Empire Maker has won the 135th Belmont Stakes. He won it by a neck over 10 Most Wanted. Farther back, Funny Cide checked in third, beaten 5 lengths. Well, Bobby Frankel has finally won his Triple Crown event. He has won it with Empire Maker. And for Funny Cide today, a disappointing third-place effort in the test of the champion.
The Triple Crown denied again as Bobby Frankel in a near sprint to the winner's circle. He had finished second in his only 2 prior starts in the Belmont Stakes, and Jose Jr., Rita Santos' mother, the Sakatoga stable principals. Funny Cide went right to the front, and that's not a bad tactic because Triple Crown winners have been the leaders in the Belmont Stakes. But Empire Maker came alongside just as he had done in the Derby, but this time he didn't hang. This time he went by and then had to hold off the challenge of 10 Most Wanted as the Triple Crown is denied one more time. There is Funny Cide and Jose Santos gamely hanging on but finishing third. Let's go to Donna.
Jerry Bailey, you believed in this horse all along, even after he got beat in the Derby. What turned the tables today?
I think he had a good regimen all the way up to the race. He stayed healthy, he didn't miss any training, and he showed what he could do.
Now, you told me before the race that he was very, very tractable, very manageable. Did he just fall right into your hands? The pace set up like you thought it would?
Yeah, he could have been on the lead, actually. He's heads up going to the turn. I just eased him back. He allowed me to. Then I put him back outside, tracked Funny Cide. He allowed me to. The only thing he did wrong is he kind of pulled up when he made the lead.
When you got up to the throat latch of Funny Cide, did you think you had Funny Cide?
I knew I had him from the top of the backside because he was so ranked with Jose. He couldn't get him to settle down today. I knew he'd wear himself out.
Well, Jerry, I know that you're afraid that you might go back there to some booze, but I think there's going to be some awfully happy people for you.
Well, I'm one of them. If there's only a few of us, I'm one of them.
I'm happy for you, too, Jerry. We're always disappointed to see a Triple Crown go down, but I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It was good for racing.
All right, Tom, as you can see, being the spoiler doesn't change the enthusiasm of the winning jockey.
And Funny Cide getting an ovation from the fans as he returns, and Empire Maker jogs back. And now the second guessing, of course, will start. Was that work earlier this week? Funny Cide, 57-4, too fast. He went out fast and didn't finish up. And that's kind of what happened in the race today. Maybe he thought that was the way he was supposed to run. Funny Cide, the 17th to win the Derby and Preakness and fail at the 1.5-mile Belmont. And Jerry Bailey says by this time he knew he had it won, at least as regards Funny Cide, but It was 10 Most Wanted that mounted the challenge in the stretch.
Absolutely, and all along everyone felt that 10 Most Wanted would be a horse with a good, long, stamina-laden pedigree. But here is Empire Maker finally living up to what everyone had expected of him before. This will be bittersweet for Bobby Frankel because he will wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh, what if? He'll be agonizing over that Kentucky Derby, but it's proof positive of how hard it is to win the Triple Crown. You not only have to have the best horse, you've got to be the luckiest.
And a New Yorker, Bobby Frankel, spoils the Triple Crown bred of a New York horse. Bobby Frankel, born in Brooklyn.
That's his friend and fellow trainer Lisa Lewis, who ran Kiss Insane in the Preakness.
And Barclay Tagg watched the end of the race as Funny Cide led till the turn for home, and by now I think he knows that the Triple Crown bid was not to be.
In just a few strides around the middle of the turn, the dream was shattered. He knew that the horse was really fighting Jose too much the early part, even though the fractions were soft, and everybody is crushed here.
And the Saratoga stable.
Good for them. Applaud this horse. He didn't hang it up when the horses passed him. He kept on trying and finished third. They're going to have a lot of fun, happy years with this fella.
As we applaud them. Let's go to Bob Newmeyer.
Jose Santos is with me. Barclay Tagg is with Mike Battaglia. Jose, first of all, you had a smile on your face as you weighed out today. Why?
Well, definitely. I have no reason to be disappointed about this horse. He definitely won the two more important races. Was the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. I mean, we want to win the Visa Triple Crown, definitely, you know, for New York. But circumstances, you know, it's a racehorse running over there. And, I mean, he was third best today.
Tell us about your trip down the backside. You took the lead, and you heard Bailey right on your shadow, right in your footsteps, stalking you every step of the way. Tell us about it.
Well, I know exactly what's going to happen, you know, and I have... soon when I pass the first turn, and I feel Jerry Bailey right next to me. You know, he rode a good race, and my horse, I don't think, I know he liked the mud, but I don't think he was handling today so well. He was switching late back and forth a couple times, and when I don't want it, but he ran a good race. He finished third. We try, and listen, I hope we don't have to wait another 25 years.
Congratulations on a great ride, Jose.
Thank you.
Great ride to the Derby and the Preakness, and Mike has Mr. Tagg.
And Barclay, again, congratulations, as Bob just said, on a great ride. This horse ran two great races. He was in front today. Jose said he might have been a little bit rank. What did you think? When he made the lead in 48 and change, were you confident?
I was pretty confident when he made the 6 furlongs in 13 and change.
Right.
So it's just disappointing. I feel bad for all the people that were so far behind, you know, behind him, wanting him to win this, you know.
Right. Everybody, I think, was wanting to win. The fans here. What about the quick work, the 57 and 4? In hindsight,
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Nothing at all.
I really, truly don't think it had anything to do with it. No.
He just got beat by a better horse today.
Horses always run better when they've had a fast work. I didn't do it on purpose, but I didn't think it had anything to do with it. No, he was fine. He went into it fine.
And Barclay, again, you had a great run.
You never know what they're going to do in mud.
You really don't. He handled the kind of a muddy track at Aqueduct.
Well, it wasn't anything like this. And the Pimlico thing that track was perfect that day, you know. So, I mean, this was the first time he's really had to be in the mud. I don't know whether that was it or what it was. But I was pretty confident when he came into it, but he didn't do it. So.
And nothing wrong with the way Jose rode him. To go to the front in this slop is probably the right thing to do.
I didn't mind at all. I mean, he went to half in 48 and change, and he went to 6 furlongs in 13 and change. You can't ask for any more than that, you know.
Again, congratulations on a great run and a good shot here in the Belmont. Tom?
All right, Mike, there's the dismount by Jerry Bailey aboard the winner, Empire Maker. Empire Maker, 3-year-old colt by Unbridled out of the wonderful mare Toussaud by Gran Senor. She's so special that back at Juddmonte Farms in Kentucky, she has her own double-wide stall, air-conditioned, heated. She is an unbelievable producer. And this is a royally bred colt.
And he's led away now by his groom and Bobby's foreman, Ruben Loza. Great job with this colt. They did a good job getting him patched back up in the 5 weeks and getting him right again.
Empire Maker $6, $370, $280, 10 Most Wanted, $580, $320, Funny Cide $270, $44 Exacta, and a $67.50 trifecta. Let's go to Kenny Rice.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. With me is Pat Day. 10 Most Wanted runs second in this race. Like Empire Maker, he also had not raced since the Kentucky Derby. What was the difference today than when he finished up the track in the Derby, Pat?
Well, I don't know. Empire Maker was maybe a better horse today, but you know, my horse didn't get a lot out of the Derby. He got bumped real hard at the break, and I think that's what knocked him when he knocked his back out of alignment. And he never picked up the bit, never really got a lot out of the race. But I tell you, Wally's done an outstanding job with this horse. Obviously, he took him out to California, hasn't missed a day of training. Came into the race looking like $1 million and really put up a game effort. I couldn't be more happy. I take that back. I could be only be happier if we were getting our picture taken right.
When you turned for home, you told me earlier that you were looking at Empire Maker. You were going to follow the path of Bailey instead of Funny Cide as you were coming for the stretch.
Yeah, well, Jerry had run up on the outside of Funny Cide, was clocking him all the way, and I was right in behind Jerry. I thought I'd just wait till Jerry, you know, called on his horse off the turn, and then I would drift out and put him to the task. That's the way it worked out. My horse punched hard, got right up to his throat lats, but just couldn't get by him late.
Did you have a feeling that maybe there might be a chance when you got in that final 16?
Well, at that point, when I hadn't run by him, I was afraid he was going to run out of time. I'd made a big surge up to his throat lats, and then just inside the 8th pole, coming to the 16th pole, we were just holding our ground and not making up much, and I didn't feel like at that point we was going to be able to go ahead and get on by him.
Well, great comeback for him today after the disappointment in the Derby.
It really was. It was a great race, and honey, I love you. Hope you're feeling better. But
imagine that's your wife?
Yeah, she's a little down with a little respiratory infection, but I know she's feeling better now.
All right, thanks very much, Pat Day. Tom Commendable was the only up until now winner of the Belmont Stakes who had only run in the Kentucky Derby and then not raced for 5 weeks. And today we have 2 horses that have come out of the Kentucky Derby, hadn't raced for 5 weeks, and they run 1-2 here in this Belmont. Back to you.
Exactly right, Kenny. The 10th time in history that the Derby's beaten favorite avenges his loss in the Belmont, but the first to do so without having at least one more start in between those races. Here's the complete order of finish in the 135th Belmont Stakes. Empire Maker, 10 Most Wanted, Funny Cide, Donover, Supervisor, and Scrimshaw. So Empire Maker, trained by a New York-born Jewish man for a Saudi Arabian prince, Khalid Abdullah, wins the Belmont Stakes and gives Bobby Frankel his first victory in a Triple Crown race. Back for the presentation at Belmont Park in just a moment. Park, as the results again, the payoffs, the time 2:28.26 on the extremely sloppy track, as Empire Maker holds off 10 Most Wanted, with Funny Cide fading to 3rd. And Charles, you're talking about the tactics in the race. I wasn't surprised at all to see Funny Cide go to the front from that number 4 post position. Were you?
Well, we talked about it earlier. The workout was very sharp and very fast in the beginning, and I didn't see any way they were going to be able to steady him back. And even though the fractions weren't that fast, when a rider has to really sit against a horse and fight him that much, it takes something out of him. Now, whether he was going to get the 1.5 miles or not, I'm not sure. But, you know.
Let's take a look at the replay of the race, and you'll see right in the center is Funny Cide in stall number 4. Broke well and now has to go, about 3 wide before he gets the lead and gets over to the rail.
He does. Actually, Empire Maker almost outbroke the gate today. He broke very sharp and got a good position. That's Scrimshaw up on the inside in the green and yellow silks. And Wayne Lucas had said he would be forwardly placed today. And the eventual second place horse is tucked in behind Empire Maker, but he does swing a little wide here as they go around the turn. Santos hoping to get clear of Scrimshaw. I'm sure he's hoping and praying that Scrimshaw won't go quite with him. But look at his feet. See how his feet are in front of him? On the dashboard, as they say. He almost looks like a steeplechase jock going down to the first hurdle here. He's doing his best. He's not fighting him, but he's really got a lot of hold of him. But Funny Cide's got his ears up. He's going easily.
And Empire Maker just behind him. Jerry Bailey has not asked him to run at all, and he just starts narrowing the gap, looks like on his own.
You can almost see Bailey. Looks like he's locked on radar. You know, he's just stalking right off of him, and he's just measuring and inching up a little bit, probably just to keep Funny Cide on the muscle, and because he knows that it's questionable whether he's going to get the whole 1.5 miles. So he's leaning on him a little bit here, keeping him right in his sights. As Numi talked about earlier, this is almost a match race, and they have to keep each other pretty close together here, not let one get away from the other one. So it's going according to actually what the boys said would happen today.
And this is the time that Jerry Bailey said he knew he had Funny Cide measured because he had been Rank and Santos unable to really control him. So he's just moving up at a leisurely pace. Scrimshaw right in there but on the rail will eventually fade to last after this and into the turn. And Empire Maker now starts to make his move just as he had done boldly in the Derby and then flattened out.
Actually, now you see Jose Santos starting to bend over, and he realizes that Bailey is up outside him with Empire Maker. Now the races join. Now see, they go. And they go head and head for a little bit, but look at Santos's hands. He's already pumping on this horse. Bailey is, you could put a glass of water on his back. He isn't moving, and Empire Maker sweeping on by, and just like that, the Triple Crown is over.
And you'll see the whip come out here, right there in the left hand of Jose Santos, to no avail, though. Funny Cide still giving it his all. And now Jerry Bailey says when Empire Maker gets to the lead, he sort of starts to relax a little bit, and all that talk about a match race just about went by the boards as 10 Most Wanted charges up.
He makes a really tremendous late run. This was kind of expected of him at the Derby. He had some problems, and Empire Maker always still a little green. He tends to weave a little bit through the stretch, but Bailey knew he had 10 Most Wanted measured, and it was just a picture-perfect race.
And down in the winner's circle, awaiting the presentation in a few moments, Bobby Frankel and his entourage watching that replay of the race. And this is the Empire Maker we expected to see since he won the Florida Derby by a record 10 lengths or so back in the spring. Disappointing perhaps in the Derby, but winning the Belmont and holding off 10 Most Wanted. The Cyber Cappers maybe voting with their hearts as well as their heads. Thought Funny Cide could do it. Instead, it's Empire Maker. We'll have the official presentation.
On the winner's platform with Empire Maker's connections and New York Governor George Pataki, Tim Smith, the commissioner of the NTRA, the chairman of the NYRA, Barry Schwartz, and the president and CEO of Visa USA, Carl Pascarella. For the 5th time in 7 years, the $5 million has been on the table, and still no one cashes the check.
Well, I think, Bob, this just proves how difficult it is to win the Visa Triple Crown. It's one of the most difficult sports challenges, I think, in the world. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Empire Maker, Juddmonte Farms, Bobby Frankel, and of course Jerry Bailey. They did a great job, but I'd also like to just take an opportunity to thank Saratoga Stables and Funny Cide and everything they've done for racing over the last few weeks. It's been great. It's been a great run. It's been great for Visa, great for thoroughbred racing, and I think great for the people across the United States.
And the 5 million rides.
We get them next year.
All right, Carl, thanks very much. Barry Schwartz is the chairman of the New York Racing Association. The microphone is yours.
Thanks, Bob. This was really a spectacular day for racing. I just want to thank the fans in New York who've proven once again that they are the greatest fans in all of sports. 100,000 came out today on a day like this, and I think that's just great. And now, to present the trophy for the 135th running of the Belmont Stakes, the governor of the great state of New York, the Honorable George Pataki.
Thank you, Barry. And let me first say to the whole Sackett Harbor group, Saratoga Stable, and everybody involved with Funny Cide, thank you for bringing a level of excitement to racing in New York and across the country we haven't seen in a long time. To Bobby Frankel, John Chandler, and of course to a great jockey, Jerry Bailey. Congratulations, Jerry, on a great ride. And to Empire Maker and everyone involved, congratulations on winning one of the great races, if not the greatest race ever held, the Belmont Stakes. There you go, John.
Dr. John Chandler accepts the trophy.
Thank you. We're very sorry that New York didn't get the Triple Crown for the New York-bred, but I've got the second best thing, or the best thing, a New York-bred trainer. And he has done a super job with the horse, and we're very excited about it. Thank you.
Congratulations. Bobby Frankel, everybody came here looking for a New York story. They thought it would be Funny Cide. They got a different New York story. A Brooklyn-born trainer, Hall of Famer, 4-time Eclipse Award winner, but never a Triple Crown win until today.
Well, it's a great race for me, and this is probably the biggest thrill I've had in racing, to be honest with you. And I'm just excited for the horse because I knew he was the best horse, and he came through.
Is there, despite the joy in winning this race, a little feeling of regret because this horse might have had the makings of a Triple Crown winner?
Well, it was meant to be like it is. You know, he got hurt before the Derby, and we had to change our plans, and it didn't work, and at least a little redemption now.
Bobby Frankel, congratulations, here with his daughter Bethany. Let's move over to jockey Jerry Bailey with son Justin and wife Susie. Let's talk about Justin for a second, because before the Derby you mentioned that when you last won the Derby, Justin was only 3 years old, and you wanted him to be able to share with you and remember you winning a Triple Crown race.
Yeah, even though we couldn't win the Derby, he was born in New York, and he's going to be a New Yorker, so this is the next best thing I can do.
They say that the Belmont is a jockey's race. You rode a great race today. You tracked Funny Cide the whole way, made your move on the turn. This was pretty much the way you planned it.
It is. I walked in the paddock, and Bobby said, you know, ride him like you want to ride him. And I rode him like he was the best horse because I thought he was, and he proved he was.
You told us before the race that 10 Most Wanted was a horse you had a lot of regard for. Even after you'd moved by Funny Cide, you had to worry about 10 Most Wanted.
I did, you know, and as Empire Maker is accustomed to doing, he eases up when he makes a lead, and you couldn't believe the deafening roar of this crowd when we turned for home. And he threw his ears up and kind of went into second gear and waited for 10 Most Wanted, but then he kind of accelerated again.
You've ridden a lot of horses over the years. How good is Empire Maker?
He's the best 3-year-old I've ever been on, and I think he'll prove as the year goes on he's a really great horse in himself.
Justin, did you have fun today?
Yes.
Proud of your dad?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations to Empire Maker, all of his connections. Back upstairs, Tom Hammond.
All right, Bob Costas, thank you very much. And Charles C., now we can look forward perhaps to a rematch at the Breeders' Cup.
Well, indeed we can, and this horse has obviously lived up today to what it was that he was meant to be, but it makes you realize just how hard it is to win the Triple Crown, and it reminds me of the words of our dear colleague Jim McKay, who said, the wonder of it is not that there are so few, but that there are so many who have won the Triple Crown.
So now we have the longest gap in racing history since the last Triple Crown winner, and one wonders when it will be accomplished again. It continues to rank as one of the most difficult feats in sport, but if it is anything, racing is a game of hope. Maybe next year. They took the track today before nearly 100,000 in the rain and gloom of Belmont Park, and it was Empire Maker who denied the Triple Crown to Funny Cide. One thing's for sure, though, Funny Cide loaded all of us on that big yellow school bus, and even if the engine sputtered a bit today, he still gave us a ride we'll never forget. So long, everybody.